Of herbal healing. And we're here to simplify things that may otherwise be complicated and sort of bring them down into something practical that you can use in your everyday lives. And today, our topic is about how detox triggers the healing process. And I think you'll find this really fascinating because there's a lot more to it than commonly thought of. And you may have heard or seen in the media quite often, they will either scoff or sort of mock at the idea of detoxing and that maybe it's a waste of time and so on. But there are so many thousands and more than likely hundreds of thousands around the world that are currently undertaking detox programs to improve their health. And the healing results are indisputable, undeniable. So let's talk about how that process happens and let's explain some of the secrets to how detox triggers healing in the body. All right. So what I'm going to do is I've got a web page that I've been doing some research on, and I'm going to share that with you and just talk through. And we'll also towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you a link to a free book that covers a lot of the material that we're talking about as well. And it's a wonderful little flip book that you can have a look at. So I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go. Oh, try that again. Awesome. So how detox triggers the healing process. It's a really fascinating subject. And I think it's fairly obvious to some of us that, going clean is going to improve our health and things. But actually the combination of, using the food, the herbs, the power of your mind, and we call it the healing triangle, and how that all works together and what it actually does in the body is what we're going to share here today. So this is a really interesting starting point, the innate healing energy. And this is the foundation of a lot of natural therapies, traditional medicines, holistic practices, and so on. And one that a lot of us know about is chiropractic. They talk a lot about, innate healing energy, that when you get your spine aligned or realigned and adjusted, that the inner flow of electricity in your body is enabled. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Detoxing is one of those ways, and I'll explain a little bit more how that happens as we go down further. But it's really interesting to remember that we have this innate healing energy, which is basically an energy within us and within nature. And when those two collide or connect, then there's this powerful oneness and powerful connectedness that takes place. And there's a lot of science now that reveals how the electrical energy and how the sort of the biofield or the bioelectric field of the body is involved in healing. And that's mostly to do with electricity and electromagnetism. But when you connect with nature, when you connect with the earth, and you can do this with plants and with herbs, and just by getting in amongst it and getting those things in amongst your body, there's this powerful electrical conductivity that increases in the body. And by detoxing, we allow this innate healing energy to really start to flow. And if you want to read the details around these things I'm talking about and look at the research, then have a look at that QR code in the top corner there. Scan that with your phone. It'll take you to this page, and you can have a look at it a bit further. Now, here's another principle that comes into play when you're detoxing: effortlessness. So an interesting thing about health and healing in all traditional and holistic circles is this philosophy of balance and harmony. And that comes about when we apply no effort. So this is a really interesting thing because we always think, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. This is going to be hard work and I have to put a lot of effort into it. Well, there is some effort involved, taking the herbs, cooking the food and so on. But largely what we're doing is we're setting our energy free. We are liberating the energy and we are allowing things to happen by themselves. And this is what detoxing really is. It's just taking things out of the way And so, we know when we sleep, our body heals. Now, this is a well-known fact, and that means what's happening there? When you shut down, when you stop, the healing process is triggered and it starts to take place. And so, therefore, is there any effort involved in triggering the healing process? No. I think that's great because, in essence, that explains the principle of healing. Is all we need to do is get out of the way, and toxins are no different. And I'm going to talk about toxins a little bit more. But health and healing should be effortless. So remember that. And so that's what detoxing does, is it gets toxins out of the way. And here's something we talked about a few weeks ago. So detoxing triggers the healing process in a similar way to servicing a car. And so all we're doing is we're getting the sludge and buildup and toxins out of the way and allowing the inner workings of our body to function like they should. And you could say putting fresh oil into a car is no different to putting all these wonderfully clean foods and herbs into your body. And that triggers the whole metabolism. So you've got all the enzymes, all the cofactors and minerals, all the antioxidants, and all the other micronutrients like polysaccharides, which communicate within the body's metabolism. So think of it that way. It's just simply servicing your body by doing a detox. Now, here's another category of toxins. I think this is interesting: emotional. So, toxins affect us basically in a similar way to poison that sort of gets in your body and interferes with the chemistry, and it causes disruption and chaos. Now, when you think about emotional stress, emotional turmoil, um, that is really no different. It just gets in the way of your body's natural energy. And don't you feel that when you get into an argument or a confrontation, that it just feels like it blocks your energy, and there's this kind of frustration and this buildup of inner energy that you otherwise wouldn't have. And so, again, how do we get this out of the way? And one way to do that is to just go into a state of, I guess, detachment and forgiveness, and extract yourself rather than going into these confrontations. So while you're detoxing, it's really good to, possibly have some time to yourself, get out in the trees or on the beach and just let go of that engagement or entanglement. It's a good term for it, emotionally. And by doing that, you allow the detox to happen emotionally, and you trigger the healing process. So just another principle. It's another really simple one, but it's one we often overlook when we're detoxing, is it's important to remember. So here's another way the detox heals. Obviously, when you put juices and concentrated nutrients into your body, you are super nourishing. And I'll show you another slide a bit further down of this. So you are avoiding things like meat and bread and processed foods and sugars and all the heavy things, including nuts and beans and legumes, because they are a bit harder to break down and digest. So you want to get those out of the way. You want to clear a pathway in your body for this electrical conductivity that we talked about, for this flow of energy. And so you'll find when you're detoxing that your bowel movements increase, that your urination increases, your sweating might increase, and you may even cough up more from your lungs, so or clear your sinuses. So all of those elimination pathways are opened up. Those channels are opened up by doing juices. Now think about this as an example. When you're sick, when you're not well, what is the first thing your body tell you to do? Stop eating. Or you just want something really easy to digest. And so a lot of people go onto soups or juices, things that are liquid. So it's just a natural thing that we've learned over thousands of years of human civilization, is when you're sick, have simple food. And that's basically going on a detox. So isn't it interesting? A lot of these things we already know, we already do. And so the scoffers, or the mockers of detoxing, just need to take another look, because we know this stuff works, and it has done for a long, long time. Here's another great tool. Another part of that detoxing is the power of your mind. So these great images that come from AI. So this is, connecting with nature and with the power of your mind, and with that electrical force, that life force, that healing energy that we all know exists. It's bioelectric energy. So by tapping in with your mind, you have what's called the placebo effect. And this is well established that our mind has power over our bodies, power over matter, basically, mind over matter. And when we truly understand this, we really start to gain more control, and we start to take the reins of our health a lot more. Now, people that get sick all the time, they're often hypochondriacs, and it's often a case of emotional stress, and the mental state of negativity and doubt and fear and anxiety. All those things creep in, along with a toxic environment, along with toxins in the body. So when you apply the mind in a positive way, everything flips on its head and things start to heal. This has been well proven. There's been studies where they've done fake surgery. Now, I think this is amazing. They've done basically a heart transplant or knee surgeries, and simply have not done the operation, but just made a cut or an incision and then stitched it back up. And amazingly, to the astonishment of the medical professionals, these people got better. So their hearts got better, or their knees healed themselves. And that's because the person believed that the surgery had been done. And so this is incredible. I mean, it's even known in the mainstream pharmaceutical industry. They do double-blind placebo clinical trials, and the placebo part of it is included because they know oftentimes it's up to 30% of people heal themselves when they've been given a placebo. So we need to rule that out as part of a clinical trial. Amazing, isn't it? Mainstream medicine firmly acknowledges the placebo effect. So when you're detoxing, and when you use your mind in a positive way, when you focus on what it is you want, and basically forget about what you don't want. I know it's hard to do. Forget about the things that could go wrong, and focus on the things that you want, and they'll start to go right. So please keep that in mind when you're detoxing. It's a powerful, powerful tool. And not only because you are, opening that channel and that pathway for that healing energy, but also because you're putting into play what's called epigenetics. So this is another principle. Epigenetics are basically the environmental factors, and you'll see in this picture here, we've got pictures of herbs and nutrients, sunshine, different things going on around this body that shows they are affecting the DNA. And you can see the DNA pictured in the middle here. By the way, DNA is not this big, but it's indicative. So what's going on here is all of these factors are affecting the DNA, because the DNA has receptors that sense what's going on in the environment, and the DNA responds. And so this powerful healing process can happen when you put all these factors together, the positive thinking, the positive nutrition, the herbs, the food, and so on. So have a look into that, because that epigenetics is really a fascinating subject. And obviously, meditation is one of the factors, and also recommended when you're detoxing, not only for the emotional, the mental, but also the physical. And when you're fasting or doing detoxes, actually recommend fasting as part of it. We'll talk about fasting another day, actually, because it's another fascinating subject. Meditation, highly, highly recommended. Prayer, very, very similar in its effect. It connects you with the origin of life, and the source, the power, the healing energy that we all have access to. And through the plant kingdom, that's why I've pictured a guy here meditating amongst trees. I've had fantastic experiences with this myself. And I'm sure if you try it, you could have this incredible illuminating experience of connecting with your body, and a healing can take place. Powerful healing, by the way, can take place during this process. And there's another picture of all of the epigenetic factors, how they affect the body's DNA. But lastly, I just thought I'd share a little bit about the detox. So again, we recommend doing this clean food for 14 days is a perfect time frame to trigger healing. And if you get into a deep state, I mean, you can also do a 30-day follow-up program. And obviously, this is our detox program. It's the one that I produced over 20 years ago, and nearly 25 years ago now. And it's fantastic. It's got 40 herbs, and actually, sorry, 24 herbs. The follow-up plan's got the 40 herbs. But this is the 24 that focus right in on detoxing and helping to clear the colon, the liver, and so on. So have a look at that. And just before we go, I would like to share with you this ebook that's a free one. So let me just take this screen share down, and I'll get the QR code for you for the ebook, and we'll just hide the one that's up there at the moment for the web page, and I'll just put the ebook up there for you now. Here we go. So if you scan that one, that'll give you instant access to the ebook, and it's a fantastic little flip book that you can flip the pages over on your iPad or something like that. And that's basically it today. I hope that's been helpful and you've enjoyed that. And I hope you feel inspired to consider the detox approach to healing yourself and to triggering that healing process. So we'll talk again next week. Have a great day. Bye.